Doing it. Doing it. Doing it.
Oh, listen, we've definitely changed the grease, so we'll definitely give you that 3-piece with the Cajun rice, the way you like it. I mean, some of y'all may want the mashed potatoes with the spicy gravy. Some of y'all may just want the seasoned fries. Point is, we'll be giving it to y'all the way y'all like it.
Fresh off the griddle. Oh, it shouldn't be a griddle, right? Because you talked about all types of like fries and
listen,
chicken.
If we talking the griddle, then if it's on the griddle, then it has to be some real fresh blueberry pancakes.
Word.
Extra bacon.
What would be the food equivalent to a perfect plex?
Well, I mean that depends on what your palate calls for. For me, I guess the perfect plex would be like anywhere from like 3 to 5 different food combinations. The first one would be definitely a good steak, medium rare, of course, with either some sauteed or cream spinach and some mashed taters, or we can go with some good old fried chicken with some greens and mac and cheese. Point is, or it could be some good ass oxtails with some rice and peas with cabbage, or realistically, it could be a good fried half a chicken with some beef fried rice and egg roll.
I thought you were gonna go for like something New Yorkish shit, like a chopped cheese or bacon, egg, and cheese, or
that's
something
new,
like that.
No, that's new New York. But I mean, shit, it could be a good depending on what bodega or store you go to, it could be a good pastrami with some Swiss, no mayo, mustard. You know what I'm saying? 2 pickles. It could be the sausage, egg, and cheese with some Swiss cheese on it. I mean, again, it depends on what your flavor is. But at the same time, we were talking about chemistry last night while doing several shots. Shout out to the Charleston.
But, deep in the heart of West Williamsburg.
I don't even know, for me, that's North Williamsburg. You got East, but that's another tip of Brooklyn, so it can't be West. But either way.
Northern Williamsburg. Central Northern Williamsburg.
Shit, the perfect plex could be just an order of nachos from that good old Mexican cart around the corner from Charleston.
Word.
Shout out to the homies.
With the chorizo taco there late at night.
All day, baby.
That shit hits so good.
Especially
after you drank 6 beers to the face.
Well, several beers and several shots.
You know. So, like a delicious chorizo taco, we're here to brighten up your evening or morning, depending on whenever you're listening to this, whenever, wherever, however.
Point is, we're here to throw that mambo sauce on whatever you need us to throw that on.
And like some good sauce, we remain the Triple P, the Perfect Plex podcast. Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary royalty, all of y'all.
Aliens, dwarfs,
Schmizmars,
those who want the snooze, and
not death though.
Not
death by. Just the snooze.
Again, once again, shout out to the homies from Omicron Persei 8. Well, Omicron, Persei 8, 7, 9, 1, 2, 3. I don't think we ever got the story about the first several Omicron Persei's.
It was just 8. That's the only one. Maybe 8 conquered the others, and that's why it's the only one.
I mean, based upon their storyline, I'm pretty sure they ate the first several, and that's why they were the 8, because they ate everybody else prior to that.
That makes sense. The poppers, the delicious Omicron poppers.
Till this day, I feel like that was a joke on either Applebee's or Fridays.
Yeah,
but this isn't a podcast about poppers or mediocre food franchises. I mean, we can do one about that if y'all want.
Oh, is that what we're gonna do tier lists eventually? That'll be the first visual episode, tier lists. Us dragging and dropping food franchises into tier
Oh, you know
lists.
what? We'll do that after we do the first cookout party cast.
There you go.
Because we can't talk about food shit unless we do food shit.
Unless food shit was done.
Yes. If y'all don't know, we like to do a little bit of that, especially in regards to the grill wave.
Grill wave at the end of the world. There's
You know what I'm saying?
there's the title for that episode.
At this point, y'all can just call me the Kratos of the grill.
What would be? Damn, I tried to think of something clever and it didn't come to me. God of pork.
God, I won't throw out God of the Swan, but God of the Flame. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll take that. You're like Hephaestus. What was the game where you fight that again? The third one? Yes, the third one, I believe. Where you steal his fucking weapons from him.
Honestly, that sounds like all of the God of War.
Yeah, you just steal all their weapons, just get taxed. Like when you smash Hercules' face in, and you just take his shit. That was wonderful. It was very satisfying.
Beautiful.
But this isn't a God of War podcast either. I'm not sure what podcast this is anymore. It's just this magical,
and
sinuous animal, you know.
Based upon the Greek mythology and lore that we threw out there. Shout out to Ragnarok, the anime, not. No, all right. Shout out to Thor Ragnarok. That was a very comic nerd movie, but at the same time, I appreciate and respect that. But I'm talking about Ragnarok, the anime that currently is still on Netflix.
What is it? It's Reign of Ragnarok, right? That's the full.
It's Ragnarok something.
Of Reign, it's like a full. Oh,
Yeah,
you can just
yeah.
search Ragnarok and you will find it.
But either way, it definitely needs way more lore. Not even lore, way more pub, because it definitely touches upon a lot of different things that a lot of new age anime doesn't. But at the same time, it's Netflix. As we're doing this cast this evening, or excuse me, this morning, we're still waiting on. They dropped a new version of Baki. That was alright. I'm saying we're still waiting for the next version or whatever of King of the Zora. Point is, we're waiting on a lot of Netflix shit that hasn't come back, and you know what I'm saying, I blame all of y'all for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I blame them. They're trying to figure out how to nickel and dime us and not let us share anymore and shit.
But that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Fuck them.
Because, again, if shit is popping, then, you know what I'm saying, they switched the whole Baki shit up just to fuck with niggas, okay?
I think they're also just scared because, like, all their stuff that was getting the money, like The Office and long-running syndicate Parks and Recreation, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, but that's
Marvel
what
shows,
Netflix was
like,
built upon.
All that stuff is just gone now because all those networks took their stuff back.
Yeah.
So,
And again, that was going to happen at some point.
So I think they're just kind of floundering around right now in the dark a little bit.
Which is some bullshit because Netflix has been around for at least 12 to 14 years.
Yeah. I remember working in the post office in Central Florida. Like the main, postal distribution center or whatever.
Shout out to Central Florida.
And
all the ladies from there.
I remember handling like hundreds, if not thousands, of Netflix when they still sent you the DVD, the red envelope.
Yes.
I handled so many of those, and even though it's a felony to steal mail, like dudes would be like stealing Netflix envelopes all the time, no matter what.
That all that really popped because we were still in the original mixtape era.
Yeah.
And again, mixtape, you always think about hip hop, rap, all that, but mixtapes were, or just that concept was a very broad fucking range. Because mixtapes weren't just about rap, like the AOL mixtapes. When you would get those AOL and this shit back in the day, what was that? Net Zero. When you would get those shits every fucking week.
1,000 hours.
Yeah.
1,000 hours of internet.
And that was the original swindle because that's why back in the day, especially when you talk about AOL, that's why a lot of us had different fucking screen names. Because it was like, they couldn't really keep track of that shit. So if you plugged in a new CD, aka mixtape, you could redo all of that shit. All you had to do was just come up with a new, not even new email, a new screen name.
That could be just one character different, or
one digit. Like again,
it's not like today where you can't. They say don't use a password that is similar to your last few passwords, and they can tell like if it is.
That and even beyond that, you can't even use the same email.
Yeah. You gotta come up with different things.
And again, that was the beautiful thing about all that back in the day. Again, alright, I think my first AOL, actually I don't remember my first AOL screen name, but the one I do remember first is, I think it was Cash G Mac. And part of that was because of T-Mac. Part of that was just because of, where I was during that. My main one, AOL screen name was it was Next Level 7. And funny enough, it was NXT. Not Next. It was NXT.
Oh, you were the precursor, so.
Yeah. So my shit, and if anybody that knew me from back then hears this shit, which would be incredibly funny, they'll know that. Especially the joints I was talking to online back then, because that's what we were doing back then. Yeah, that was me, boy. I was the Next Level 7. But no. You have to create a whole new fucking email. You gotta do what? I enjoyed the mixtape era. So. Shout out to G Unit. Shout out to Dipset. Shout out to DJ Clue. Shout out to Joe Budden. Shout out to fucking Fab. Shout out to DJ Drama. R.I.P. to Jesus. It's R.I.P. to quite a few, so honestly at this point, but R.I.P. to all the old school fucking mixtape DJs, man. Honestly, because they are a reason why the internet popped, and they are a reason why a lot of motherfuckers are able to make money without doing certain things now, man. That's shout out R.I.P. to K Slay. That's what I was thinking about, especially him, man.
There you go.
The DJ, the king of the drama, man. Before DJ Drama.
So that's a good segue into giving people their flowers. Before we started in the all-important pre-production meeting, we were talking about NBA players who don't really get their flowers. They're just due like enough, and I know that can be extremely subjective.
Or just our favorites.
Or just a phrase among those. I know that can be extremely subjective, and most of the fandom at this point is super young, I feel. So they have different opinions on like who was like that motherfucker or whatever. So I guess the rules we came up with, or the boundaries we came up with, are, what was it, no Hall of Famers, you said, right?
No Hall of Famers.
No NBA Hall of Famers.
If they were an All-Star, they were maybe a one-time All-Star, but definitely borderline All-Stars. We're talking about, realistically, not really role players, but individuals that, again, like the brother man just said, those that didn't get their flowers, but at the same time, those, certain names that you'll keep afloat based upon, how they move, where they moved, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? A very critical name that will be brought up will definitely be that of Brother B. Diddy, Baron Davis. I would like to say he's an honorable mention, but he's not, based upon the fact of, several different things.
Was he an All-Star?
Yes. Because he carried those Hornets teams in New Orleans. But when you talk about Baron Davis, his lore, unfortunately, will probably be more off court than on court. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, we're in that type of that type of lore. Fuck it. I guess I'll be the one to start it off. One name that I will always bring up, and even as I'm about to bring this name up, I'm thinking about two different names that I damn sure ain't bring up in the fucking pre-meeting. I said this shit would happen, but whatever. One of my main names that I'll bring up is Kirk Heinrich, a.k.a. the Captain. Only because if you know about that Bulls team during that time, you know that they had nothing but a bunch of young talented dudes, but there was no real leadership. Another name I'll bring up, not because of this discussion, but had Jay Williams stuck around or not gotten into that crazy bike accident, that Bulls team would have been a little bit different. Because you know why? They would have had like somebody to go at the infamous Agent Zero. But, Agent Zero is probably, well, not probably, he's definitely part of another team we'll put together. Not sure what team that is right now. Unfortunately, being that I'm a little inebriated, I will say it probably will be the most niggerish team of all time. But talented, you know what I'm saying? Talented niggerish, alright? But getting back to the Captain, in regards to like one of the better, like overall, like all-time overall games that I've seen, I haven't seen too many games that was better than his in regards to like, especially like playing point guard in regards to like, he was a point guard but he could score. He played D. You know what I'm saying? He definitely had a little bit of that X Factor kind of thing going on in regards to like he can dictate like a whole game. Like he's one of those like he could play point guard for like the first 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter this motherfucker would score for your ass. And I saw him showing his best games against motherfuckers that were better than him. You know what I'm saying? So again, especially like Agent Zero, but he was one of those to where like, you know, the best point guards in the league would bring him up in regards to like their toughest matchups. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the captain, and I'm gonna have to get a little more new age because, you know, you can't be too old school with this young crowd. In regards to the new age, somebody that doesn't get their just due, and we're talking either this era or the era before them. Truth be told, honestly, it may have to still be your man Joel. So it might have to be Embiid. So
Yeah, even though he was second place MVP this year.
But just in regards to like his impact in regards to like bringing the big man back, it might have to be him. So in regards to like this new era, it might have to be him. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Especially since he has a perception that, you know, he's soft or he's this or he's that.
No, he's the process.
You know, he's the reason why the process didn't work, even though
he's the process.
Various reasons. Those dudes could have still had Jimmy buckets. My God.
I mean, bouquets. But Jimmy. Now we get a little bit off topic, but fuck it. Jimmy is definitely one of those dudes that his hard work and his ego are always going to like cancel each other out. So Jimmy probably won't ever get his just due until he gets a ring.
Yeah.
But he's also one of those individuals where he's at that level. So it's like, all right, boy, we seen what you have to offer, but what you have to offer lead to a championship? So that's where we are with Jimmy Bouquets. Again, there's all types of different dudes that we can bring up. So shit, your man Westbrook could be brought up in this fucking discussion, but I won't.
I don't know, man. Like, this man, our unofficial mascot of the Perfect Plex podcast.
And that's his fault.
His fans really love him. Like, they love him. Love him.
But I mean, that's because they are all very incredibly stubborn, much like he is.
Yeah. And so I don't know if he.
And really, again, much
and
like
he's gonna be a Hall of Famer because he broke the triple double record.
Yes,
so.
Yes. And that is really based upon the time with which he played it. Now, I'm never gonna take that away from him, but again, his fans are really like incredible enablers. really don't care about saying that type of shit because that's just the facts.
Well, they remind me of the Melo fandom, who would defend Melo tooth and nail, no matter what he did, didn't do, whatever.
But even within that, Melo was definitely the way better player.
Yeah. So I get it, and like Melo, and like I said, way back. Way back in the melodrama. Go watch that. If you haven't watched that, our episode about Carmelo Anthony before he continued his bizarre journey to the Blazers and all these other things, and the Lakers and having sex with women in Italy or whatever.
Should never.
Like, I always wanted him to win. It's not that I hated Carmelo, because he was just way too talented a player to not be successful in the way that matters in the league, which is rings, at least finals appearances. That's why the joke was always him and T-Mac couldn't make it out of the first round, and they were pointing and laughing at him.
No. Melo at least, because of Chauncey Billups, Melo at least made it to the Western Conference. Shit. At least that.
Yeah, at least that.
And again, he was the best player on that team. And again, Kobe, for that 1 year, called it. He was like, yo, nobody can defend Melo during that 1 year. So you may say that was the 1 year where Melo was the best player in the league.
Offensively.
Maybe. Yeah, well, yeah. Or at least the most dynamic player, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. If you have the Kobeism saying that, no one could guard him. So, God, who is it for me, man? I thought about a couple people. I guess we're gonna do the old head pick first. Is a man by the name of Anton Jameson. If you don't know Anton Jameson, go, look that man up. I'm sure some nerdier nerd than me put up highlights of this man on YouTube somewhere.
Definitely part of what we can consider now to be like the Warriors' lure, because even though like their franchise back in that day kind of sucked, they did a damn good job of drafting people, man. Look, again, Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas, for those of you who don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. Agent Zero, that's Gilbert Arenas. Anton James, I was about to say James Winston. Anton Jameson.
Jameis Winston.
Monte Ellis. Just dudes they drafted. Of course, Steph. Of course, shit. I'm trying to think of dudes earlier than that. But again, this is the early 2000s. Point is, they realistically could have had Gilbert Arenas and Steph Curry on the same team. And I don't know who the fuck would have wanted to deal with that. But either way, for the last 20 years, for the last 20 years, the Warriors have done a great job of drafting. They just had a hard time keeping motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're always looking to upgrade. I guess like many teams, but they're always definitely looking to upgrade.
Now, to their credit, they did draft a lot of dingerish individuals, so
we'll see.
Point is, they could have at least kept maybe one or two of those, as we call them, niggerish individuals. Steven Jackson, aka Stack Jack, is one of them. As I believe, he was supposed to be on that the first Warriors championship team, which was that 2015. So your man Stack Jack should realistically have at least 2 chips. Because again, him being on that squad back in 2015. Point is, if Stack Jack was on that 2015 team, LeBron wouldn't have averaged, what was that, 30? Well, first of all, again, shout out to LeBron. I'm not a LeBron advocate, but I'm also not a LeBron hater.
Ditto, even though I've said fuck LeBron James many times in my life.
But that was mostly during the Heat days. LeBron, I believe, averaged pretty much 37. He pretty much averaged like a 37, damn near like triple-double in that 2015 series against the Warriors. The Warriors' first chip. You know, before Steph Curry grew the beard out. If you'd have had Stack Jack on that team, LeBron damn sure wouldn't have averaged that many points. And honestly, if you had Stack Jack on that fucking 2015 team, they probably sweep the fucking Cavs. A full Cavs team, mind you.
Wow.
A full Cavs team.
A bold proclamation. What a reality that must have been where that happened.
Nah, because Kyrie wasn't ready. K-Love wasn't ready. The only person that played in the finals on that team was LeBron and LeBron. But outside of that, like I said, I guess my main dude is definitely Captain Kirk. But another main guy that never really got his just due. I threw this out there earlier during the pregame meeting, but like I said earlier, definitely Kevin Willis. Man.
It's a good one. I said Anton Jameson. For me, because we were going for our favorites, I picked him.
Oh, just the best names that you could think about.
Sure, but like he definitely matches up with like a guy I genuinely liked watching. We talked about this in the meeting. That Wizards team, I often say, there have been big threes and big fours before. I just feel like they just didn't get their credit for that, except for teams like the 86 Celtics and the Sonics and the Suns, the 93 Suns or whatever Suns team went to the finals.
Yeah.
You know, they had like a fist of like 4 or 5 guys, maybe 6, who, you know, really put it on you, even if, you know, they were quote unquote like a middle of the road or inferior team in the rankings, but you knew who they were, you know, you knew how they got down.
That was during the time before player movement, before free agency and.
Well, for free agency was really like a tool, like to develop, like you traded back then only if you had like problem players or people who wanted to leave.
Yeah, or there had to be some extremes.
Or you had a deal you couldn't refuse, you know, or it was just like a lateral deal, like, oh, I'll trade you these 3 guys I'm not playing anyway, you know, for some money, or whatever, you know, like, and a copier, you know, and a sandwich.
For not even, it wasn't even like a superstar, for a quote unquote all-star.
Yeah.
For, you know, an Antonio McDice.
Exactly, and so the Wizards really had this interesting team with Anton Jameson on it, and it had him, young Caron Butler, Agent Zero, and Larry Hughes, and a couple. Eton Thomas is the center. Brandon Haywood was the 6th man.
Yes.
I can't remember any of the other players offhand. I feel like Deshaun Stevenson maybe was there, young Deshaun Stevenson.
Yeah, it was young. Yeah, young. And of course,
maybe Jan Mahimi. I don't know. I think I'm wrong about that one, but
no,
it's too. Yeah, Jan wasn't even. Jan was probably a little kid, but like.
And then, you know, the brother man, Cretington. But,
oh yeah, Javaris. My guns go blam. Cretington.
I'm saying, but yeah, that was. that was definitely a different time and a whole different era.
But, those four guys played very well together in the starting lineup, and they gave better teams, quote-unquote, better teams,
Yes.
fits. LeBron was the young prodigy in the league at the time, this, wonderkind or whatever, and they always face off against the Wizards.
In the first round.
Often, and it was cool to see them slug it out.
Nah, because even, before that, the first round would always be, the Wizards and the Bulls with that young team that I talked about with Kirk Heinrich, fucking, was that Chris Duhon, young Luau Deng, young Tyson Chandler, young but injured Eddie Curry. But, Asian Zero would always twerk their guard combinations, and it would always be a very interesting series, but Gilbert Arenas would always be the best player in that series. Then it became the Wizards against the Cavs, and the brother man would no longer be the best player in the series because clearly LeBron was involved.
He was on his Gohan, he just powered up and just blew them away. He was the one who whispered in Bron's ear, right? When Bron had to hit those free throws for the game. Forget which
No, it wasn't
year.
Bron. It was somebody else, but I know what you're talking about.
Lance Stevenson did a similar thing with him, which started their whole weird thing, and then he was
That was later on, yeah.
and then he was blown in his ear or whatever. But I feel like Gilbert Arenas or one of them tried to fuck with Bron because back then, everybody was looking for the weakness that Bron had.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't Bron. I forgot. I know who you're talking about, but because again, this was one of those Vlad TV interviews. But Gilbert talked about that. It wasn't Bron. I forgot who it was, but it was somebody.
Someone was shooting free throws. I feel like it was Gilbert, and he tried.
No, it was definitely Gilbert, but Gilbert.
And he went up to him and he whispered in that player's ear. I thought it was Bron, but I could be wrong. He whispered in that player's ear, and whoever that Cleveland Cavalier was, they sank the free throws to win the game.
Yeah.
Or they like to get the go-ahead. Those are the go-ahead points to win the game. And so everybody was tight at Gilbert because they said that they motivated that shooter to hit those, even though it was a high-pressure situation. With the game and the series essentially on the line. That may have been a Game 6 or Game 5 situation, because I remember the next game, the Cavaliers smoked the Wizards. Smoked. They didn't give him a chance, to get him in the game. Froze out Larry Hughes. All types of shit. But the reason why I bring on Anton Jameson is because I love, under the rim, plays like Steve Smith, is always talking about. Is he still on NBA TV doing under the rim shit or whatever?
Doubt it.
Either way, I always loved his under the rim shit that he would talk about on those. And Anton Jameson was a master of these weird ass under the rim shots that were nigh unguardable, or you have to push him or foul him to really contest them.
He was another one of those original weird stretch forwards before that shit became popular. And ironically, he had much more of a post game than people want to give him credit for.
He was super crafty,
and
I took notice of that. I always thought that was cool, players who were super clever like that, because he was athletic and he was tall and he was long.
But he figured his game. Well, he figured out what his strength was in the NBA.
And the reason why, besides how crafty and awesome it was his game and how he played, and this is another player that I'm about to bring up in a second because we talked about him, who's much more famous in comparison to Anton, but was still, kind of downplayed in the same ways. But yeah, they would clown Anton Jameson and be like, that's not how you play the game, and that's not how you play the game from the 4, because he would usually play some 4 and maybe some center if they went small, but this was
anywhere from playing a 3 to the 5.
Or they would do him and Brandon Hayward together.
Yeah.
So I would hear a non-Wizards announcers critique him about all these weird plays he would make because that just wasn't fundamental basketball. And I'm like, but he scored though. He got the assist. Like they completed. Like they converted on the play.
He's averaging a fucking double.
And again, his only issue, like many of these players, I feel like we would bring up, flowers or otherwise, flowers deserving of flowers or otherwise. He was hampered by injury. He never really got on the right squad to utilize. I would argue that of all of those 4 players that were on that Wizards team, getting busy, except Deshaun Stevenson, who is the only champion, right?
Yeah.
That sucks. Well, it's good for him. Shout out to Deshaun Stevenson, hitting threes all the time.
And playing D.
3 and D. You could argue that he was just one of those early adopters of that, being that glue guy, 3 and D guy.
That was definitely I won't say the best, but it was definitely one of those eras where it was the role player era.
Yeah. I would argue that the role player era still creeps up and bubbles up. It's how Dallas won their championship, even though Dirk was wilding, but on
that team you had at least two to 3 Hall of Famers.
But yeah, Anton Jameson was awesome. I wish he was a champion because he was just so innovative. If I were a more responsible editor, I would be showing you packages of him making awesome layups around the rim.
He played for the Mavs too.
He did, but he could never stay on the court. Like that was the issue. And again, I don't use that as a knock on him. I never want to use injury as a knock on somebody because that's unfair. But he just never, for whatever reason, just could get it together. I guess college was just going to be his apex or something, maybe. I don't know. Either way.
No, college and those Wizard days, because I don't remember if he was an actual All-Star, but he was definitely like a borderline All-Star when he was on the Wizards.
So he fit the criteria. That's perfect. So just like him, the other player I was mentioning earlier was one Sean Marion, aka the Matrix, NBA champion, right? Thank God. Yes.
He was on the Mavs. I don't know if he was on that Mavs team.
I'm pretty sure he's a champ. I'm gonna go with that. Pretty sure he was on that Mavs team, but was injured. Same as Caron Butler. Shout out to him. Caron is also an honorable mention in that last entry. Like definitely. Again, the Wizards had this weird, forward, driven team that happened to have.
They had a team that, like, if
they could slice you up, man.
No, if they had that team now, they would definitely be like a top 3 seed right now.
Especially now that all anyone does now is shoot threes. Larry Hughes would have been in heaven. Like,
no, again, like the blueprint of the squad they had now is how people play basketball now. Unfortunately.
And so I appreciate that. I always appreciate them for that. And thank God, at least Caron Butler won a championship. Anton Jameson sadly did not, as far as I know. I'm just doing live air research. Don't mind me. Oh, Basketball Reference shitting the bed right now? Come on, my guy. For his career, he averages 18.5 points. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, no, because again, like a lot of those were, like honestly, a lot of that was just his basketball IQ, man.
Yeah, in Washington and Golden State, he averaged 20 a game in his multiple seasons on those teams. He was getting it in. Hold on. Reference is choking a little bit. He was shooting 35% from over almost 36% in Washington from 3. Shooting, what is that? 50%, 45%, and 38% from 3. If I'm reading this right. Sorry, I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. Yeah. Oh, 36% from 3. So decent percentages. You know,
again before the era of
could
the
score.
stretch four.
You know, and score in a myriad of ways. It wasn't just like he did this and that. Like he shot, he finished around the rim, as I mentioned.
Yes.
And like I said, injuries similar to Grant Hill and people like that. Not that Grant Hill is comparable, but just in the way that injuries really hampered him.
And again, they all came up during a different weird time.
Yep, but going back to Sean Marion, nothing really happened to Sean Marion or anything. You could say things worked out for him more or less. But people would similarly say, as I said to Mr. Jameson, that his shot was so ugly and the things he did were so weird that they didn't have a place in basketball. And he is an NBA champion.
Yes.
Like I knew he was. But in either case, he doesn't get his flowers either, really. Compared to, like, the 7 seconds or less Suns get a lot of coverage, at least amongst the dorks in the community. But I don't know. I feel like I've never really seen any, like, Sean Marion. I don't want to say love. I think people love him just fine. But, like, in depth, like, this is why he was important, to that team. And this and that.
Yeah, he doesn't get his just due for honestly living up to his nickname, which was the Matrix. And that's, again, the time with which he came about was why he got that nickname. But anybody and everybody who's a contender right now would fiend for his skill set and his talents.
Absolutely, and just his strength alone. So I don't know, man. There are a bunch of players who fit this mold, and I feel like getting your flowers, or giving them rather, is kind of subjective. 1 week you're like, man, this dude's really balling out, and I should really give him his just due.
No, it's not subjective because when you give somebody their flowers, it has to be based upon a resume. And at this point, I'm pretty much cool with keeping the cast the way it's going this way. But if you're giving somebody their flowers, it's because they haven't smelled the roses yet. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, Sean Marion, even though he is an NBA champion and accomplished as a player, I feel like the only thing you're gonna hear about him when he unfortunately passes or whatever is how weirdly he shot, and that he was part of those 7 seconds or less teams.
And again, during that time, his game was weird, but now
effective. That's how everyone plays now. All the alien stretch forwards play like he does now, more or less.
Yeah.
They don't shoot like he does, but they definitely play like he does.
No.
And that's why I feel like he deserves some mention. Even though, again, he had some level of fame, and all the Suns guys did. But I feel like, at this point, people only remember Steve Nash. Not even Amari or any of the others on the team that mattered.
I mean, and I couldn't blame them for that. And, unfortunately, that was eons ago. Unfortunately. But at the same time, that style of ball that's the foundation.
It's alive and well. More than alive and well. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other guys, like more modern players, more guys who are playing today. Like, I want to talk about dudes like Davion Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton and Scotty Barnes. Although I guess Scotty Barnes is not so unknown anymore, quote unquote.
And they none of them have been in the league long enough to have that.
Yeah, to really say, because they're gonna be good. Actually, maybe Shai Gilgeous at this point, having played 3 seasons deserves that because boy's been cooking. It's just that no one cares about the Thunder.
Even that. He hasn't done anything.
He's going to be good, though. So I want to give him his flowers now. I mean, I gave him his flowers on the last episode when we talked about our fantasy teams, but that man is going to be a problem. Like,
yeah, we'll see. But he hasn't done anything to get any type of real flowers. Honestly.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure there will be more. But those two definitely stand out because they were unique. And like you said, bringing about this new alien era. And now that's the norm. You know, just a bunch of long-ass forwards doing everything. They don't even have real centers anymore in the All-Star game.
No, it's the alien game.
You know,
it's the alien game.
It's crazy. It's real crazy.
Yeah, we've gave y'all a little bit, but at this point, I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't give y'all any more.
And this is actually a really good discussion. This might be a theme that we have to return to for part 2 of this. So,
I mean, that was always gonna be a segment, the different various.
But I like it because when we were talking about it in the meeting, we were struggling mightily to like think of names, like because like the man just said,
we had the main names, but we were trying to think about names
like a list, like we were trying to put down a bunch of guys, you know, so that there's a foundation. And it was hard, man. Like I thought of Grant Hill, for example, but you know, Grant Hill was respected and still is respected. He's a Hall of Famer. Stuff like that. I thought of
commercials.
I thought of T-Mac briefly, but I feel like that only applies to the younger generation because they don't know who he was and didn't see how he played.
And we have T-Mac being part of a.
Also, he's a Hall of Famer. Now, shout out to him. Thank God. Like, thank God they at least they gave him some mercy and let him in. He deserves it.
So we had to cry during the fucking press conference. But
I would say Penny even, but like. Penny was still heralded, and also like it's an injury thing. Like injuries, similar to Grant Hill.
Penny is too much of a cultural icon.
Yeah, similar to Grant Hill. Like it was just unfortunate. It wasn't like he was getting underrated. You know, some people were saying and a lot of people were saying like, well, it's because Shaq was there. But it was like, nah, he was a dynamic player. Like he would have succeeded.
The dynamic duo.
He just probably may not have gone anywhere. That's all. Unless he got, you know, traded out of there like, you know, T-Mac did. So we'll see. But
we'll see.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for that.
As y'all should.
This is a nice one. This is a nice, brisk, you know, short outing compared to our usual ones.
It was an appetizer.
Definitely. There's more coming. And maybe, you know, it was... Technically, this will be the 3rd episode I'll be releasing in the next... 2 weeks or so.
No, you're giving them too much information.
You know? So, maybe it's good that this one is a nice little short end of a trilogy there of what we're going to be giving you.
Well, listen.
It's a good way to open the season, you know what I'm saying? The birthday season. See, look at the callback there, you know? Isn't that wonderful?
We're just trying to give y'all some fresh mozzarella sticks right now.
Exactly. Don't and not fill you up on bread if there's nothing substantial to offer.
I'm sorry.
So until next time, we've been the Triple P. What kind of dishes are you saying? I'm gonna go with
no. It's the Triple P's, but we're definitely giving y'all 2 to 3 different dipping sauces right now. You know what I'm saying.
Oh shit.
What those sauces are, I won't say, but there'll definitely be different flavors in your mouth. Or flavor in your ear if you want to do that.
Tell them where they can find you, as usual.
Well, at this point, shit hasn't changed, so it's Bandit _ Light 7 being on the gram. We definitely hitting the summertime, so you will see various flicks, aka videos on the gram of, you know what I'm saying, your boy grilling and chefing up. So, chefing up different types of things. We'll just say that.
Excellent. As usual, you can find me, honestly, barely posting at all at this point. I just be at work, like, browsing and stalking Twitter. Like,
Yes.
you know, if you get a post out of me, it's like a single sentence thing to something. And
that's just how life is. Right?
At most. But I'll definitely be promoting our next series of episodes there. You can catch me at Shining Brizard. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm going to go with Brizard. And, you know, send me a DM or make fun of me or send me a cat meme. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Or just send some clean thongs in the mail.
Oh, I don't know. We don't even got a P.O. box for that. Not yet.
First
Not
of all,
yet.
Like, saying P.O. box makes you sound mad old, but
hey, podcasters still use P.O. boxes plenty. That's still pretty modern.
Fair enough. Either way, whenever we get that address together, send clean thongs to that address.
Word up. And yo, I guess we'll see you next time for more tales in the birthday season. Until
more
then,
tales of the tale.
Well, that's coming. You keep teasing that, so now we're contractually obligated to do it. Good job. Good job with your.
It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly, with the light-skinned ridiculousness. We'll see you later, friends, pals, non-binary folks. Not that you're not our pals either, but I just like to get y'all in all the time.
Stop smoking bad weed.
Yeah, especially that. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Don't leave them mids alone, son. No more Reggie. It's 2022. Peace, niggas.